Hello. Hello everyone and welcome to the New York Empoleon's Week 5 match of the GBA D-League. Now our season has turned around in a heartbeat. We are 2-2 at this point, playing against Regulator and the Los Angeles Clefables. He's, I think, sitting at 1-3 right now, but his play has been a lot better of late, and he's going to definitely put up a challenge against us this week. Now, if you want to see his side of the battle, see his sets, see what's coming, go check out his link in the description below. If you want to see the team builder and see what sets I'm bringing, that's also in the description below. Why don't you go check that out before you watch this battle? But while we have you here with us right now, we are predicting him to bring Greninja. Only Torrents allowed in this league, thankfully. Tapu Koko, Mienshao, Yanmega, Goodra, and Mega Scizor on my side. I'm going to be bringing the Bisharp, FlyGON, Gardevoir, Excadrill, Victini, and Mega Venusaur to counter that. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we can manage to continue this winning streak, continue our winning ways. I will not delay you any longer, though. I hope you guys enjoy the battle, and I will see you guys in a second. All right, everyone, welcome back. You may notice that we have a little difference. I said we were bringing Excadrill. We're bringing a Milotic. I don't know why I did that, but we do have Milotic on this team, not Excadrill. And there is the Greninja Gliscor. No Koko, though. Heatran instead of Koko, which that I'm okay with. We know that he can't have a Z move at all this week. And we also don't see the Goodra. So we've got Mienshao, Yanmega, Mega Scizor, Gliscor, Heatran, and Greninja. So, okay, no Koko's really interesting in this matchup. I am terrified of the Yanmega. I knew it was coming. Heatran obviously is here to handle a couple of threats on my team. Now, this is a Final Gambit Victini. If he doesn't get rocks up, which both his Gliscor and his Heatran can do, I just nuke something straight up. I just kill it. He has nothing that has over base 100 HP. The only two things on his team were Musharna and Goodra. Not Goodra, Seismitoad. And so, if he gets rocks up, that is a little bit scarier. I'm going to lead with my... I don't see him leading with Yanmega, which would be the only problem to my Mega Venusaur lead. So I'm going to lead with Mega Venusaur. If he does lead with the Gliscor, then I can go for a knockoff here. He might lead Heatran. Heatran would be a little bit more of a problem for my Mega Venusaur, but getting rid of its potentially getting rid of Gliscor's Toxic Orb, or incentivizing him not to click Stealth Rock and instead click Protect first turn. I'm okay with both of those options and getting a free Mega after that. So let's take a look at what he's running. We're going to send out our Venusaur. He's going to send out his Hamburger Ace. That is the Heatran. So he does go with the Heatran. Now, we do have answers to Heatran on other Pokemon on the team right now, but not on the Venusaur. The Venusaur is carrying HP Fire for the Scizor. However, I just expect him to set up his Stealth Rocks here. That is really what I'm expecting his Heatran to want to do. I could easily switch out into my Milotic here on that, but I don't necessarily think that's the best play. I think I'm just going to go for a knockoff here, see what this Heatran is holding. If it's an offensive Heatran and he was predicting a Bisharp lead, that might have been why he went with it, to try to stop me from setting up rocks. Obviously, Bisharp the only thing this week that can set up rocks. Getting a knockoff on anything on his team, if he does decide to switch in that Mega Scizor, that's totally fine. I do have the HP Fire on this Venusaur, and he can't touch me. Everything else doesn't appreciate getting its item knocked off. Yanmega's a significantly smaller threat if it doesn't have a Life Orb. So the King comes out. That is the Yanmega. I know he knows that I'm afraid of it, so that is why he would definitely go into it here. And before I can get rocks up, that's why he led with his Heatran to prevent my Bisharp from setting up the rocks. We are going to get a knockoff off here, do a little bit of damage, and knock off the Choice Specs. Now, we don't know if it's Speed Boost yet, because the first turn it switches in, it won't get that Speed Boost. We do have Hidden Power Fire here, and without the Specs, this thing does a significantly less amount of damage, which is fantastic, because Yanmega does a lot of damage to a Venusaur. Even without the Specs, it's doing about 50%. Now, my HP Fire, which does confirm that I have HP Fire, does not kill from this range. And he could have Giga Drain, But again, without the specs, it does a lot less damage to things like Milotic. So let's take a look at Yanmega. Yeah, Giga Drain with no item, if it's modest, is doing about 40%. Scald's doing about 50%. And Milotic threatens a lot more of his team than Venusaur does. But I think the play here would just be going for that Hidden Power Fire. Yes, it reveals it. Yes, he knows that his Heatran is then safe against my Venusaur, but his Heatran can't do anything to my Venusaur unless he's got Eruption or something, which even then is not going to do a ton. So I'm going to go for the HP Fire. He may just go for an Air Slash here. There's the Air Slash straight up. Does connect it, which is, as long as he doesn't get the flinch, is okay. It does about 50%. He doesn't get the flinch, so we do get a big HP Fire off, and we just straight take out the Yanmega, so that's a huge kill for Mega Venusaur. So Mega Venusaur kills Yanmega with Hidden Power Fire. Now, he may think that's Hidden Power Rock. I don't know why he would think that. It's got to be HP Fire for the Scizor, but it killed, and it doesn't say on my set that HP Fire would kill a Yanmega. So maybe I critted. Did I not see a crit? But now he knows that it's HP Fire or HP Rock. He knows it's not HP Ground for the Heatran, so his Heatran could come back in here. But with the Yanmega down, me being up a Pokemon definitely means that my Victini trade for a Final Gambit to kill something, anything, is pretty free. Now, it is a Scarf Victini, which will outspeed everything except a Scarfed Greninja on his team, and it has super effective coverage for just about everything on his team, except for the Mienshao, which I don't think I'm afraid of the Mienshao, honestly, against my Victini. The only reason I'd be afraid is obviously the Fake Out, lowering the damage of Final Gambit. But Blue Flare is going to do about 80 to 90%, so if he's not bulky. But again, Final Gambit should kill something on his team. And getting something like a Gliscor, a Heatran, just knocking it out straight up would be huge for late game. So there's the Mienshao. He's probably going to Fake Out. How much does he do to my Mega Venusaur is the real question. He might have Poison Jab. He could have High Jump Kick. None of that's doing much damage. Giga Drain's doing about 50%. I think the play is just to click Synthesis, though, honestly, right here. I'm going to click Synthesis. He probably Fake Outs. And then we'll see if he's Life Orb or not. Get a chance to get some information about his set here. Obviously, the Regenerator there is a big part of the game. You got to deal with that over time. But that's, again, why I thought Final Gambit Victini had a lot of use here. So I should stop talking about it in case I never use it. There's High Jump Kick. Are you, like, Choice Banded? Wow. That's so much damage. That is so much damage. Oh my god. That was insane. So are you Adamant Banned? Jesus. But we're good. We survived it, and we were at 90, so now we're at 96, so we actually could take another one if we wanted to. Which would actually be a decent play here. The other option being going into my Gardevoir, but I don't like that play at all. We're going to go for another Synthesis, see what happens. He might miss a High Jump Kick, since he is probably banded into it. He might also crit a High Jump Kick, but he's doing he did 90 that time, so the damage range is massive. So he's actually probably Reckless. Not... Hold on. He might have to be Reckless here, now that I think about it. He's probably not banded. He's probably, I don't know what item, but he has to have some boosting item. Black Belt? Black Belt doesn't do enough. It might be banded. It might be banded Reckless, which means that I'm actually getting lucky on these damage ranges because they could kill. It could still technically kill from here if he's banded Reckless. Now, one option is going out into the Gardevoir on this banded Reckless Mienshao. Assuming he's Adamant and not Jolly. That is the assumption there. High Jump Kick's still doing 60% to Gardevoir. Holy cow. This thing hits like a monster here. But if he is Jolly, he doesn't have a chance to kill anymore. He has to be Adamant, and he hasn't exceeded the damage range of Jolly yet. So I am going to Synthesis one more time. There's another high jump kick. No crit. So that one went from 99 to 15. That's still in the damage range of both Adamant and Jolly. But now 108 is outside of the damage range that he can kill on the next turn. So I could just Synthesis again. What does this Venusaur do for me late game? It really just doesn't do anything if it's at a low amount of health at all. Now, I could do like 60% to this Mienshao, but he also has I mean, it's high jump kick. He has a 10% chance of missing this. So we're going to take another one. No crit here. We're going to Synthesis one more time. I mean, I don't really know what else to do here. I think he's got to be Reckless. And I think he's got to be banned. I'm gonna put a question mark there, though. And, I mean, Giga Drain does a lot of damage if he's not defensively invested at all. But I really just can't go for it yet. But if he crits me at any point, I mean, then, well, if he crits me or misses, those are the two, like, which is going to happen first, the crit or the miss? The miss is technically more likely. But he's landing all of his high jump kicks right now. And no crit there. We are getting a little bit of HP back every turn. So that is something to be really happy about. That we are just getting that little bit back. Now, what is the PP of high jump kick? I actually don't have that memorized. So high jump kick has max 16 PP. So he actually out PPs me my Synthesis here. But again, I think Venusaur doesn't handle anything unless it's healthy. So I need to go for it until he misses. There's a high jump kick, still landing it, which is kind of wild that he's like landing every high jump kick. That's a low roll right there. But he hasn't done over half yet. So we've always been able to recover more than we've lost every turn. And at this point, I mean, I have two more synthesize. So I'm going to go for it. He lands another high jump kick. Jesus, this dude. This guy. So he might be just stalling out my Synthesis at this point, which I honestly don't mind so much. Again, I just want my Venusaur to be healthy coming out of this. If it's going to survive anything, it needs to be healthy. So I'm going to go for one more Synthesis. I've got one more Synthesis to go for here. Now, he might have tried to count out my Synthesises, and he might know that I'm now out of them. So Jack-O is Scizor. Now, I think he's going to try to bait me into an HP Fire here. Do I think he's bait? He knows that I revealed my hidden power, so is he going to go right back into Heatran or something? Or is he going to attack me? I mean, Mega Scizor is doing 40% with a Bug Bite. I mean, do I really mind him going out into the Heatran? I'm going to go for a knockoff here. I think he's baiting the HP Fire. No, he is actually going to stay in, so sure. I mean, I kind of wish I just clicked HP Fire, but goes for the U-turn. Okay, so yeah, he's trying to bait that. And he does outspeed, which is good. He has some speed investment in order to outspeed a Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur does naturally outspeed Mega Scizor, so he does have a little bit of speed investment there. I should note that down. Mega Scizor outspeeds Mega Venusaur. So at least a little bit of speed investment, but doesn't have to be a ton. Now, I don't know if he was expecting me to switch out there on his Mega Scizor or what I mean, he might just be U-turning for U-turn's sake. He might be going into his Mienshao now, knowing that I'm out of my Synthesis. He might be going to Gliscor here. He goes out into the Heatran, so he is trying to bait that HP Fire. We are not going to fall for that at this point. And we are just going to click my knockoff and knock off the Chople Berry. Okay, so no Chople Berry for Heatran. Now, Mega Venusaur is healthy enough to deal with some threats later in the game if I do want to switch it out. And I kind of want to switch it out into my Milotic, which is a pretty dedicated switch into a Heatran. Toxic is obviously not ideal here, but it does handle pretty much any move from this Heatran. And it has the Scald, which hits the rest of his team pretty hard. He's a lot of physical attackers, so he's going to switch out into Gordy, the Gliscor. Now he's going to get his Toxic Orb up at this point, which is really unfortunate. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that is Toxic Orb right here. Yeah, there it is. So he does get that up. He can knock me off. He knows that I'm not Flame Orb right now. I can just go for a Scald, though, which does a decent amount of damage to a Gliscor. There's not really any dedicated switch-in he has to a Scald right now. So he's got a U-turn. Alright, he's going to U-turn. That's fine. So what are you going to go into to take a Scald? If it's anything but... I was going to say, anything but Greninja doesn't resist. 3 of them don't want to be burned. No burn. Yes, burn. Burn the Greninja, so... Get a nice little burn there. He's leftovers Greninja right now. Alright. And he does outspeed us, as we should expect. Now, he could U-turn on this thing as well. He does have, like, U-turn everywhere. He could Grass Knot. Now, Venusaur is out of Synthesis and gets walled by the Heatran, and he knows that. But I've knocked off the Heatran's Chople Berry, which is good. Greninja could easily go for a U-turn here, but I don't see anything else besides Grass Knot being overly threatening. So I kind of want to just click Scald again, but I'm going to click... He's got the leftover, so the burn's actually not going to take him down at all. I'm just going to click Scald again. He sets up Spikes. That's a great play. That's terrifying. Okay, so knowing that he's got Spikes means I need to switch out right now. Although... Oh yeah, he's Torrent. I was like, why didn't that do super effective damage? He's Torrent. Duh. That's required. Yeah. So I don't like that he's setting up Spikes right now on my team. Now, knowing that he's probably going to set up another layer of Spikes, I could go into Venusaur right here, which can then go for a Giga Drain, which I haven't revealed yet, but he's got to know that that's part of my plan. The other option is going on to Victini, because he's going to just go for another layer of Spikes, and then being able to go for a Final Gambit and take something out with it, and stay up ahead of the curve, and let only 2 layers of Spikes get put up, which I do like the idea of. Victini isn't required to deal with the rest of his team, but it is nice to have for the Mega Scizor specifically. There's really not a good switch-in to this Greninja right now, which is really unfortunate. Bisharp's okay. I don't necessarily see him having a low kick on this thing, and especially with the burn, I'm not too worried about it. So I actually think that I am going to go into my Bisharp here, and then I'll be able to click low kick on the Greninja. The Heatran no longer has a Chople Berry. The only switch into a low kick would be his Gliscor, which is a pretty decent switch into my Bisharp, so I will have to watch out for that. But at the same time, I do have the Air Balloon, so that is helpful to have. So we are going to switch out my Milotic here. We are going to go right into my Bisharp, which does have the Air Balloon, so will not take Spikes damage right here. He's going to go straight for a Dark Pulse and pop the Balloon here. So that's, again, not a big deal. I don't know what coverage he has for me right now. He might just straight U-turn. So I could go for a knockoff, predicting that U-turn into I don't know what. Gliscor is probably the answer, especially now that he's popped the Balloon. I could just go for a low kick. How much does low kick do to a Gliscor? Probably negligible damage, especially compared to knockoff damage. Yeah, low kick's doing literally nothing to a Gliscor. Scald from a Greninja is doing... Oh, that's Life Orb. He's not Life Orbed. We know that. Low kick kills from this range. To me, that's kind of worth it. Because he may stay in and Scald. And I'm just going to go for the low kick. Bisharp doesn't have that much utility to me, so he doesn't have the U-turn, or he doesn't reveal the U-turn. Goes out into Jacko. I think that's the Gliscor. Oh, not the Scizor. So we're going to go for the low kick here, which is going to do a little chunk of damage to the Scizor. Now, we got a Mega Scizor staring down a Bisharp. I could switch out at this point. Do I like to switch out at this point? I mean, I probably lose my Bisharp with not a lot of gain if I don't switch out. And having Sucker Punch for late game against something like the Greninja or the Mienshao could really help. Venusaur, every time I switch Venusaur in, he just goes straight into Heatran. That's the problem, and I don't have any more Synthesis. So I could go into my Lodic here. I think I just stay in with my Bisharp, and I just click Sucker Punch, and... Or do I click Stealth Rock, because he's going to switch out a lot in this game. I actually am going to click Stealth Rock here. And we're just going to get those up, and let that, you know, if he decides he wants to defog with his Scizor, that's what it is. He's going to U-turn, so we do reveal that we are faster. We do take that U-turn, so now we have a chance to click Sucker Punch on whatever switches in, especially the Mienshao. That would be awesome to get a little bit of damage out of that, and the Stealth Rocks are there for at least a little while, since Mega Scizor's is only, and Gliscor is only remaining defoggers. So, and if he defogs the Stealth Rocks away, that's, honestly, I'm okay with that. Now, I do have enough speed investment in this thing to outspeed a Gliscor if it's uninvested, so I think I'm just going to click the knockoff, and if he does have a bunch of speed investment and kill me, that's good information for me to have, and if he goes for the defog, then I don't waste a Sucker Punch, and, you know, it just doesn't, it's not a wasted turn. Now, knockoff's only going to do about 30%, so it's not going to be anything crazy to this Gliscor. But at the same time, I think Bisharp has done what it needed to do in this match. It got the rocks up, and it's put pressure on things like the Greninja. It wouldn't hurt me to have the Sucker Punch, but it's not required either for me to have the Sucker Punch. And with only one layer of spikes up and no rocks yet, Victini does do pretty well. So he goes for the Earthquake. Now I can go straight into Victini here. He's clearly not Scarfed. I could go for the I could threaten the Glaciate and go for the what do you call it? The Final Gambit. With only one layer of spikes, again, I should kill anything on his team. Greninja has not Greninja. Gliscor has base 75 HP. Which means I should kill it from full, even after one layer of spikes. And I can threaten the Glaciate. I could also just go straight for a U-turn. I could go out into my Lodic here, which brings back in the Greninja, but I don't actually think I care. Or I could go right into my FlyGON at this point and set up a Dragon Dance in his face. But I don't kill the Gliscor from there, like from full. So my Lodic looks good here. It brings in the Greninja, but it's going to get worn down with Stealth Rocks and Scalding, Scald damage. And so I do actually kind of like the play into the Milotic. It's safe on the spikes. He could get a chance to set up Stealth Rocks here. I haven't revealed that I do or do not have Ice Beam yet, but I don't. Honestly, I kind of would have preferred to be able to Toxic the Greninja instead of burning it, but, you know, we got what we got. Do I think Victini Final Gambit may have been a good play here? Because it would have just taken out something on his team. The question is what, and if he'd gone into the Greninja, then that would have been terrible. The Heatran would be great. The Gliscor would be amazing. I mean, taking this thing out would be fantastic, because that's the only thing standing in my way, pretty much, of a sweep with a +1 Dragon Dance FlyGON. Ironically, it's also the best thing for me to set up on. But I think if I can get rid of his Gliscor, then I'm in really, really good shape. But if I take out my Victini for no reason on his Greninja, then I'm in really poor shape. So he goes out into Jacko the Scizor here. Let's see if we can get this burn here on this Scald. That would be superb. And we do get the burn on the Mega Scizor here. So this thing is neutralized completely. And as a result of this thing being 100% neutralized, I actually can safely go into my FlyGON and set up a Dragon Dance. Now, I kind of need 2 if I'm going to deal with this Gliscor at full health, to be perfectly honest. At +1, Dragon Claw is only doing about 30% to a defensive Gliscor. So but Gliscor, I mean, it doesn't hit me hard either if he's defensive, and if he's not as defensive, then I do hit him a lot harder. So I could go into FlyGON here. I think, honestly, I think there's a lot of value in that, because if he does just go for a Roost here, which is entirely possible, then I'm in good shape. If he goes for a Swords Dance to get back to neutral, I know I can take a Bullet Punch just fine from this thing. And otherwise FlyGON outspeeds it and can handle it. Yeah, I take not a lot of damage from a Bullet Punch, so... Now the question is, do I bother switching out, or do I just go for another Scald here? I kind of just want to click Scald again. So we're going to click Scald here. Yeah, there's the Roost, and I don't really mind him going for a Roost here, just because he's already burned, and getting the Scald off brings him back down to about 50%, so he might Roost again, but it gets me more Leftovers recovery on my Lodic for free. So we do see U-turn and Roost on the Mega Scizor. Now, at this point, he might be Swords Dance. I can go out into my... I'm going to go out into my... What do you call it? FlyGON. I don't even know what it's called. I don't use it enough. So FlyGON's going to come out here, and he's going to go for another Roost at this point. Now, I do have the Fire Punch, and I do have the Firium Z on this thing, so there is that option if I want to click it. Now, I mean, he's not at +2 or anything. He could go out into his Heatran. He could go out into his Greninja, which we know isn't Scarfed. So a +1 on this thing, a Dragon Dance from this, outspeeds everything except a Scarf from Mian Xiao, which I'm pretty sure he has to be Banded at this point. So I'm going to go for that D-Dance here. And we're going to see what he's going to do to try to counter my D-Dance at this point. Now, I just got this FlyGON in for completely free, and it hits the rest of his team, with the exception of the Gliscor again, incredibly hard. Now, again, he could just go U-turn and into Gliscor and shut down the potential of the sweep at this point. He doesn't even U-turn. He just goes straight out into Gordy. Gordy is that Gliscor, so, you know, a little bit premature on this Dragon Dance, I think, but I want to know what he's going to do to me. I need to get some information about this Gliscor, and I need to get some damage on it as well. I sort of wish I was running HP Ice, because the Gliscor is the one thing that hard walls me. But he can't knock off, he can't Earthquake. He's already shown Earthquake and U-turn. Acrobatics doesn't make sense because he still has an item on him. And so I'm curious, like, what are you going to do? Rock Slide's not going to do anything to my FlyGON. You know, he's got the U-turn, sure, but what other moves is this? Does it get Ice Fang? It might get Ice Fang. I don't know why he would tech Ice Fang this week, just because why would he predict me to bring my FlyGON? But, you know, let me take a look what else Gliscor might get. We got some time on the clock. I mean, if he's expecting me to bring my Tornadus, then he might tech Ice Fang on this thing. You for teching that on your Gliscor. But there's really nothing else that threatens me on this thing, on like that it learns. I mean, Aqua Tail, sort of. But yeah, it's Ice Fang or bust here. And barring the Ice Fang, he's not going to do much damage. But I do need to get some information on this set, so I'm going to go straight for a D-Claw here. I'm not going to set up a second Dragon Dance. I just want to know how much damage this is going to do. If he's defensive, it'll do about 30%. It does a little bit more. He goes for the Facade. Okay, so that will do a chunk, but it doesn't quite even do... It's not a 2 KO, which means that I do win the fight between me and him here if he doesn't have Protect as his last move, which gives me access to his entire set. Now, he's clearly not as bulky defensive as this is, as I was predicting him to be. So we did about 40%. With that. Firium Z does a little bit more. I'm going to go for another Dragon Claw here. Let's see if he has the Protect. Now, Outrage would have been amazing because he didn't bring the Coco, but I couldn't lock myself into Outrage because it just gave him a free kill on this thing with that Tapu Koko anytime he did bring it in. So, unfortunately, I don't have the ability to 2-hit KO the Gliscor, but but he doesn't have the ability to KO me either. He could be wondering if I have Roost or something, so he's going to switch out. He goes, what? That was not English. Goes out into the Scizor here. Now, Mega Scizor does not really threaten me with anything specific. He could still have the Bullet Punch, but again, he's burned, and I'm not worried about it. So I could go for an Earthquake here in order to predict that. I could just go for a another Dragon Dance, potentially, or I could go for the Fire Punch, and if he goes into the Heatran, which we know had the Chople Berry, then I'm fine. And I just go for Earthquake after that. Now, Scizor, I just want to know at +1, how much does a non-Fire Z Fire Punch do to Mega Scizor? It kills it from here. We're going to go for the Fire Punch here. He goes for that Bullet Punch, so he does reveal it, but he's going to go down here because he is burnt. And so that's a crit. Yeah, he gets the crit, of course, but that's fine. We do have the Fire Punch, which will take out the Mega Scizor at this point. So Mega Scizor, so we had, sorry, I did not write down that Gliscor kills Bisharp with Earthquake. And then FlyGON kills Scizor with Fire Punch. Now Greninja's here. We outspeed it because we're at +1 right now. We know he's not Scarfed. Dragon Claw should kill from there. There's really no reason that it wouldn't kill from there. And yeah, Dragon Claw kills from there. Earthquake does too, but Dragon Claw is, in my opinion, a much better play. He could have the Water Shuriken. Okay, you know, that's good tech. He gets the only 2 hits though, and that means FlyGON will also kill the Greninja. So FlyGON kills Greninja with Dragon Claw. Oh man, the 2 hits there is huge. That just takes out the Greninja instead of me losing my FlyGON. Now Gliscor has to come back out here. I obviously have to click Firium Z, which is just slightly stronger than Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, I don't think it kills from this range. It might kill from this range, and if it does, and his Mienshao doesn't... He would have gone to Mienshao if he had Fake Out. He probably doesn't have Fake Out because he's probably banded. And so as a result, if this does kill this Gliscor, I think we win. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but if it does kill, I think we win. If not, then hopefully he doesn't Roost. That would be the only thing. Although I can't see him Roosting at this point, unless he doesn't see me having the coverage for it, which I don't. I just have to click this Firium Z and see if it kills. And it just misses the kill, and he does have the Roost. Oh, that's so close and so unfortunate. Oh my gosh, FlyGON, that was it. That was the game right there, and he does go for that Roost and does survive on such a sliver of health. I do think that, you know, oh man, the question is, do I go for another Dragon Dance here, or do I just go straight for a Dragon Claw? He could Roost again. The thing is, if he does Roost again, I'm still going to be losing out on the damage race, but eventually he'll have to attack me. I don't want to switch out my FlyGON, do I? It counters the Heatran really well, but otherwise I have answers to the Heatran. Heatran doesn't touch my Lotic at all, and I eventually win that fight. And so I could switch out. There's 0% chance he goes for an Earthquake. So I could switch out, go into my Victini, and click Final Gambit. Because he only has Spikes up, he doesn't have Rocks up. My FlyGON can definitely come back in. Victini, Final Gambit, it kills anything. And any one of these threats going down opens the door for the rest of my team. And it doesn't really matter which of the 3 of them it is. And I think that is the play I'm going to go with. But if he just attacks here, then Victini loses that ability. So I'm going to get the safe switch into Victini at some point. I'm going to go for a Dragon Claw. Let's see what he does. If he Roosts here, I'll feel kind of sad about it. He goes for the U-turn, so I'm really glad I actually decided to just go for the Dragon Claw there. But he does take me out, so Gliscor kills FlyGON with U-turn, which is okay. Again, I would have loved for that Firium Z to have done just that 1 more HP of damage. But we'll see what he goes into here. If it's the Heatran, which it is, then I think my play is to go into my Gardevoir, which is it's specifically designed to outspeed every Heatran and has hidden power ground on it. And that will kill from this range for sure. And then if he goes out into his Gliscor, I should outspeed his Gliscor as well, unless he's super duper speedy. But we knew my Bisharp. My Bisharp didn't outspeed his Gliscor. So he may be super duper speedy on his Gliscor. It seems like it's a very offensive Gliscor. But I don't think Gliscor's going to one-shot me with anything. Yeah, it's not. Which is great. So I am going to go out into my... I'm going to go out into my Gardevoir, which has the hidden power ground. And takes a little bit of spikes. We do trace Flash Fire, which is, you know, something. This threatens him to not be able to set up his Stealth Rocks. We can click the hidden power ground here. If he does stay in, he's dead. If he does... Unless he... Oh, no, he's Chople Berry. He's not Assault Vest, so we're good on that. We knocked it off, so we don't have to worry about it. And we have the Icy Wind for the Gliscor if that thing does decide to come back in, and if the Mienshao comes in, we switch out. So here goes the HP Ground, which doesn't take him out. He's super bulky. He just sets up his Stealth Rock here, and that actually is okay. We let our Flygon go down, so the Stealth Rocks don't scare me as much, and my Victini can click something like Glaciate or Blue Flare at this point as a Scarfed Mon. So at this point, I could just go for another Hidden Power Ground. Moonblast to a Heatran is going to do enough to kill from there. I got a little nervous that it wouldn't, but it should definitely kill from there. So I am going to click Moonblast just in case he does go out into his Gliscor here. It's not a free switch in. And yeah, so he's going to... So we're revealing we're not in any way choiced, and that'll take out the Heatran. So Gardevoir kills Heatran with Moonblast. That's not something you write every day. And then it's Gliscor, which does not kill from full HP. Let's calc a max... I mean, I don't know if it's a max attack. But let's calc Facade. Because he's definitely offensive in some way. Whoops. But yeah, it's even a Facade from a max attack Adamant, Gliscor does not kill from this range. Mienshao would probably kill from this range. Obviously, it can just go for something like a Poison Jab. But I switch out on a Mienshao every single time. Every single time. There's the Gliscor. So he can attack me, and if he does, that's fine. I can just go straight for a Moonblast here. Icy Wind has a chance of missing. Moonblast does not. This Moonblast does 60% to a non-specially defensive Gliscor. So if he does go for a Roost, this should still kill. And if it doesn't kill, then we know he's going to go for another Roost because he has to, and I'll just go for an Icy Wind at that point. And that should take it out. So we'll just go for a Moonblast here. This should easily take out a non-specially defensive Gliscor. And it does just straight take out the Gliscor from there. So modest max special attack Gardevoir coming in clutch this week. Gardevoir kills Gliscor with Moonblast. And at this point, the Mienshao is going to come out. We get to see what he's going to band himself into, which is amazing. And we're going to go straight for a Moonblast. There's really nothing Gardevoir is going to do for me for the rest of this match. And if he does go for like a Poison Jab, then we're all set. Honestly, I think the play at this point is just to go into Victini and click Final Gambit and end the game with that I mean, I don't know if that's the differential I want, right? I can maybe preserve Victini, which is going to do... it does a lot with the Blue Flare if he's not super defensive. So if I can get a little bit of damage off on him, which obviously my Bisharp went down with Sucker Punch, but I would love for my Victini to not go down if it doesn't have to. So he goes for the knockoff. He's going to knock off my Babiri Berry, but he does not kill with that. And as a result, Gardevoir should just obliterate this thing, and so Mienshao goes down. Gardevoir coming in at the end of this game. Gardevoir kills Mienshao with Moonblast, and Gardevoir picking up a big 3 kills at the end of that game. FlyGON coming in, guys. FlyGON's come 1 week. It gets 2 kills. That's what I want it to do. It doesn't have to come every week, but when it comes, it's going to be productive. I am so excited to announce that we are now above 500, 3-2. Our differential is looking really good right now. We've had 3 convincing wins over these coaches. I hope you guys enjoy this battle and are looking forward to next week as we take on the currently undefeated Durham Druddigons.